We play real football down. We play real football down here in Georgia.
Woo! You know it, Ryan. Sup, Ron?
So
What's
Terry,
up? What's up, Ron? What's up,
I
C?
guess
Yes,
What's up?
sir. Brian, what's going on? Brian, you there?
hey T. So
Yes,
here's the question I got for you, fam. How do
yes.
you feel today's game is going to go with the flow of the game when we're talking about slowing down Geno Smith, this running game, and being able to neutralize their front seven? How do you feel that that's going to go?
Um, I feel like we'll adjust to whatever we have to do. What's encouraging about these last 2 weeks is that against Tampa Bay, we threw it because we had to, and we threw it for 509 yards. Against Carolina, we ran it because we had to, and we ran it for 200, and we threw it for another 225. So to me, that says we are flexible, we are adjustable, we can adjust on the fly. Um, and you're talking about going up against their front seven, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, I think we'll come out maybe the first couple of series, sling it around a little bit, run it a little bit, see what sticks. Um, if I'm the Falcons, I want to run this game. Just, I mean, and not that we can't handle throwing it 60 times a game, but for me, the best tool against an offense that can throw the ball is to keep them off the field. So I would anticipate a more balanced approach than now because I said that the Kurt will probably throw it for 700 yards. But those are my thoughts. Ryan, what are you thinking?
I think what's going to have to happen is when you talk about Kenneth Walker III, he's not really going to have much playing time today because he's a little banged up, but he's
Oh,
still
okay.
here because they had the injury report updated or whatnot for him. And when we look at everything, it's one of these things where whether you're going to be stopping Kenneth Walker III or you're going to be stopping former Georgia Bulldog running back Kenny McIntosh, that's pretty much their bread and butter with being able to run the ball and take a lot of pressure off of Geno. I think one of the biggest things that we can do in this ball game to neutralize that, you got to have clock control. You got to pretty much make this a slugfest type of ball game. That's what I feel that you got to turn this into and make them play bully ball. And they don't have enough bullies like we do on that offensive line. Defensively, I would have to say for us, we gotta get after Geno Smith. We gotta make him
Mhm.
uncomfortable. Even if we're not sacking him, you gotta have him thinking before he throws the ball. You don't want him to get into a rhythm. He's a rhythm type of quarterback.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, let me hit this up because I've been thinking about this game too. Because it's interesting because we kind of mirror Seattle in some ways with the
Mm-hmm.
way we play too. So here's what I'm going to say: third down. We've been screaming this for this whole year so far. We've got to get off the field on defense. Third down, just no matter what. It don't matter if it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 50. You got to get those boys off the field. And then on the offense, you got to stay on the field. You got to convert. And heck, make sure the first and second down are productive downs. All right. And for Zach Robinson, be creative. Okay. If you're trying to, make Seattle have to declare what they're going to do. The thing I like about Bijan is if you ever notice, the team does everything they can to try to keep him from scoring or keep him from
Mm-hmm.
doing anything. So have him flare out. See if there's going to be a couple of guys following. If there is, that makes it easy for you to give the ball to Tyler. That gives you an opportunity for Kyle to get the ball, for Drake to get the ball, Mooney to get the ball. So that's what I'm saying. Get creative. Use, Bijan. I know people, have mixed reviews about him not being like McCaffrey, but we need to see if Bijan can actually be something like this. Is he a total weapon? If he is, you got to use him kind of like a distraction sometimes. Also, I need to see Kyle kind of not be focused on, but I got to see him on I'm talking mismatches. We need to see our guys dictate mismatches. If we can get Kyle on a linebacker or on a safety, I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And and look, I don't. I'm the offensive line for Seattle. I've been reading a lot about how, and also listen to a lot of podcasts, how they have a lot of turnstiles on their team. Look, we've heard it the same for the Panthers. We've heard it the same. We've got to capitalize on it. We have to find ways. I mean, Jimmy Lake, look, we're not trading anyone and having them play today. So we got to use our horses that we have now. Heck, move some guys around. Go, hey, let's get Ellis to come off on the edge on opposite side, Judon. Have CJ Beathard play that spot while, Troy's playing another. Mix it around, rotate it. Try to, like we say, we want the offense coordinator, Zach, to give mismatches. We've got to do the same for defense. Make sure your guys can be successful playing.
Yep. And Terry, so now that he's touched on that, you and I spoke about on your show the other night, and we spoke on the special team side of things, because I told you that was my key for the ball game when you talk about special teams and whatnot. How do you feel that that's going to come into play in this ball game? I didn't get your analysis on it last week because you were hosting, and you did a very good job of moderating and distributing.
Great show, by the way, Terry.
Yeah. I want to hear what you think about the special team side of things, man.
Thank you both. We have to be better. Past two games haven't been great. That game against Tampa was it left a lot to be desired. I'll put it that way. I don't want to be negative Nancy, but it left a lot to be desired. Wait, what'd you say the other day? Couldn't knock a biscuit off a table or something. I've been talking about that for 2 days, something like that. But
I was saying when they talked about Arnold Ebiketie and we were talking about Lorenzo Carter, they were like, and one of you guys was like, well, we need to put Lorenzo Carter on special teams. I said, this man struggled to sack Andy Dalton. This dude couldn't push a biscuit off a plate with a hot fork. That's what I said.
I love it.
And it's the truth. It's the truth. He couldn't.
I love your Ryanisms. I love your. I
mean,
really do. Don't ever.
Ryan and John Harris have some of the most awesome analysis. If you ever just listen, it's hilarious.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this, Lorenzo. Everybody talks about it or whatnot, and yes, I'm a Georgia fan, and I loved Lorenzo when he was a dog. But as a guy in the NFL or whatnot, his best years are literally looking like they're behind him. Hopefully, you can see this, Lorenzo, and use this as a little bit of motivation, because you weren't the guy that you were in Chicago or even in LA. You came to Atlanta. You've been literally one of those guys that have literally looked like you're a little too long in the tooth.
I'm going to publish. So I was asking this one.
At this point, I think the way that we're gonna have to use him is they're gonna have to, get him on the field on third, pretty much on second and third downs. You got to use him as a pass rusher. That's how you're gonna have to use him. Even though he can't, even though he's struggling with sacking the quarterback, you have to use his attributes of being able to. You got to use his attributes to being able to get him to at least force the action to where the quarterback can disrupt his time, and even if he's not gonna get the sack.
Yeah.
So
to go back to your original question, our special teams got to be, man. That game against Tampa was not great. And even last game, typically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the offense typically started around the 35-yard line on some of those returns. I don't know what's up with that. What's going on? Past few games, that's what I've noticed, is that instead of them starting on the 25 or 20 or whatever when we're kicking it off or whatever, they're averaging about 35 yards or getting at least 32, 33. I'd like to see that maybe push back to the 20 or 25 if possible. And I'm not talking about if, whatever the rule is where it automatically starts on 30. I'm talking about them running the ball out and getting it to at least the 35. That's got to be addressed.
Yes, it does.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. We just were agreeing with you.
Yeah.
That's got to be addressed. The other thing, Ryan, I'd like to see us do is in those first 15 plays, let's come out with that passing game being crisp. Because against Carolina, when we came out and look, I know we put up points and we won, but that first half, those first couple series, the passing game, there's a couple almost interceptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couple almost interceptions. So I'd like to see that cleaned up. You know what I mean? If we could. I mean, again, hey, I'm not complaining. We're 4-2. I'm thankful for it, but I got to be honest. The fates have aligned with our destiny, so to speak. We could have thrown at least 3 or 4 more interceptions than we have. So that's got to be cleaner. Kyle, gonna need for you and Kirk to get on the same page as far as that play last week, and we talked about that on my show the other night, where it just looked like Kirk and Kyle were not aligned. So that
Bluetooth.
got to be cleaned up for me. I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
No, that's not. No, I didn't say anything. That's Chris sitting there messing around with his car right now. I had to mute it.
Yeah.
Guys,
I had
I'm
to
just
mute it.
trying to stay with the show, and I have to run an errand, but I'm still going to be with y'all.
You're good. No, I'm just because he thought I was talking. I said no, that was C-Dub with the car. That's not me.
I hear you. But I like that T and Ryan that you're bringing up the special teams, because that has been something. What's happening, man? It's almost like everyone can. It's almost like the old saying, they could do it, but why can't we? So, I mean, is it just personnel? Maybe do we need to give someone else a chance? What's up?
That's a good question. That is definitely a good question. I'm gonna let I'm always talking. I want to hear Ron's opinion on this one. Ron,
say that again.
Why is it that it's almost like when it comes to special teams, everyone can get on really good field positioning, but it's like a struggle for us. Like we're on the struggle bus. We can't ever get. I don't know if it's our returner or if it's that the guys that we have blocking just don't know what they're doing. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I got 2 answers for you. We take care of the ball. What I mean by that, we don't let our punt returner come out.
mm-hmm.
They try and pitch at the yard and stuff like that. And the second, our coaching staff might not believe in our punt returner.
Well, it also depends on this too. Now, you still have Avery Williams, who is a bit of a spark plug, as I've said before. And a few people during the offseason were saying, oh, well, we need to go ahead and get rid of him. We got Ray McLeod. I'm like, Ray is going to be on the offense. We're not going to use him really as a returner because you risk getting a guy with pretty much good speed hurt. And you need that type of speed with that wide receiver core that we have, and you don't want to get him hurt. You have a guy that's a proven return man in Avery Williams. And Avery also plays 2 positions, plays corner, and he also plays running back. So when you have a guy that is versatile like that, you pretty much put yourself in a position to where this man could literally be a game changer with his experience and being able to maneuver. You see that knee is not bothering him when he runs the ball. That's one of those things that's just like, okay, you see Avery running and you see that most guys that are coming back off of a knee injury or any type of significant injury, they have that physical limitation of I'm kind of hesitant because I'm not comfortable yet until they take that first shot. Avery came out with pretty much guns blazing as soon as he touched the ball. So there was no fear, no nothing like that. So I trust Avery because a lot of people say, oh, he's not aggressive enough. I said, no, Avery's a smart returner. He picks and chooses when he has a chance to run that ball.
He does.
You can't always take a chance.
Right.
Because that could cost momentum. That could cause a turnover and give the other team momentum. And that could also put us back in a position to where we struggle. So at this point, I trust Avery Williams as my return man. Sure-handed player and definitely a guy that can make something happen. Now, as for my coverage team, I would like to see a little bit better coverage with tackling guys when they return. That's what I would like to see a little bit more of.
Right. What's up, Ron? I didn't get a chance to holler at you, man. How you doing? You all right?
Cold, boss. Cold.
All right. Hey, Ryan.
What's up?
I got a question, Ryan. I didn't mean to cut you off, Ron. First and foremost, you impressed the hell out of everybody on that panel with your historical knowledge, specifically Jordan, who was a bit of a history buff himself. So I'd love to get you guys together on the show because you have a phenomenal just knowledge of the game. With that being said, I know who Bijan reminds me of. Who does he remind you of?
I said it when he was drafted, but the difference is he runs the ball. He doesn't run the ball as effective between the tackles as this player, but when you put him out in space, he reminds me of a young Thurman Thomas.
Oh, okay.
I could. Thurman was a little bigger, right? I think Thurman.
No, they were the same size.
Really?
He and Thurman were the same size.
Yeah, yeah. Thurman and him were the same size.
Okay.
The only difference between Bijan and Thurman was this: Thurman had a hurt knee before he got to the NFL, so he played with that brace his whole career. He didn't completely tear his ACL until his last year in Miami. Okay. Because think about it, he played on half a leg his whole career. He never got surgery on that knee because he got hurt playing a pickup basketball game at Oklahoma State.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he talks about it. He talks about it on his It's a documentary they did on him called NFL Films of Football Life. He talked about it because he kept Barry Sanders on the bench. Think about this: the one man to have over 2,000 yards in a season rushing. No one's broken that record yet. The kid that's getting ready to possibly break it is up at Boise State right now.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, that tells you a lot. If you can keep Barry Sanders on the bench, that tells you how talented Thurman was.
Yeah.
So when you look at it and you look at how Bijan runs, Thurman, they called him Squatty because he was very stout from the waist down. They called him Squatty or whatnot because he looked like pretty much just something that, like a little small piece of pulpwood. That's what they called him, Squatty. So when you look at Thurman Thomas, Thurman was a guy that was one of the best wide receivers coming out of the backfield next to Roger Craig. A lot of people don't talk about that, but Roger Craig was nasty with it. And so was Eric Metcalf's daddy, Terry Metcalf.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. That's who he reminds me of a little bit is Eric Metcalf. He does. But go ahead. I'm sorry. We have two new guests. Go ahead, sir.
Man, you cooking right now. I'm finding these two jokers come in here and get plates all the time. This is the first time you got a plate. What's going on, Rich? What's going on, Nando?
Hey, what up, Ryan? What up, family?
Hey, man, listen. They regulars up in here. They got their own tables over there with the reserve card on the table with their name on it, man.
Yeah, Nando was looking at me going, "Why are you in my seat?" I'm like, "Oh, my bad, man. Go ahead and have it, man." You know what? Matter of fact, have my plate. I like you that much. You that cool of a guy.
You already know she does. Just slide over. Just slide over.
Yeah, exactly.
Nando,
come on,
Nando. How about them dogs, baby? We got that dog.
Yeah. Hey, they pulled that one out, but Texas just laid an egg, man, along with my tide. We just laying eggs on the field, man. I'll shoot. I saw some Mother Goose games out there yesterday. Them two games right there. That's awesome.
You what? Hey, Rich.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, I'm gonna tell you this here because I know I'm about to get Rich cracking up with this one. Hey, Rich, them boys are owned by the state of Tennessee. The little brother Vandy got them, and doggone UT got them. The whole state of Tennessee owned Alabama this year.
They don't even want to hear Arrested Development singing Tennessee. That's how bad I heard it got in Alabama.
Hey, I'm ready for this anyway, so I just need the recruiting to go on. You can't compare nobody to Nick Saban, man. You setting the man up for failure doing all that. You can't compare whether they're a baby to greatness.
Nope.
Hey, man, this is his first. This is his first year there, but he succeeded everywhere else that he has gone to. So, so Rich, welcome into the cage. We talked a little college football, but we go talk a little Falcons with you guys. We've already covered the special team side of things, the defensive side of things. you expounded upon playing bully ball after the Carolina game. What would you like to see with the running game that's coming around?
I'm gonna be honest. I really like everything I'm really seeing right now. I only had one discrepancy, and I feel like maybe they watched the same interview I watched with Mike Mularkey
Mm-hmm.
because when, like I said before and stated before, when he did that interview with Obi Mahaley and Michael Turner, when Mike Mularkey said, and I quote, I used to put Finneran in as fullback just to be deceptive. That was what I felt like 2 weeks ago. I've been wanting to say this, but that's but I really sat back and just watched it. I wanted to see if it would develop. One thing that
Mm-hmm.
Mike Mularkey said is when he was offensive coordinator of the Falcons, he said I like to use deception. That's my
20 minutes? All right, I'm
main
going to get one.
thing. So when he said he liked to use deception and described it, he said I might put Brian Finneran in as fullback and then put Michael Turner on the line with the wide receivers and then he said put Michael Turner on the line with the wide receivers and I forgot who our other running back was at the time. He said I might just bring him in a halfback stretch, but it looks confusing to a defense. We ain't running nothing but a halfback stretch, but if I put these players in these positions, it confuses the defense so much that they don't even
Mm-hmm.
understand it's a regular halfback stretch. But we just threw a couple of players in a couple of different positions just to throw you off. The play we doing is still a regular play. So when I sat back, and the reason why I don't is because I started seeing it's like I don't know if he goes and listen to the I really feel like they listen to the people with this coaching staff. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because every complaint that we have, every game the offense sort of clears that complaint out the way. So my last complaint for the offense was Zach Robinson need to be more deceptive because you remember that's how Kyle Shanahan was really winning a lot of his matchups. That's why he a matchup nightmare because he know how to move players around. So
Yeah.
once I seen him put Drake in the slot and run him like Puka Nacua, and then turn around and Drake and Zach Robinson and Coach Raheem all three say the same thing. Yes, we had him watching tapes of Puka Nacua. Yes,
Yep.
we got Kirk Cousins watching tapes of the old Peyton Manning. That's why they running the pistol and the shotgun. It explained a lot why they know that play action is his bread and butter, but what they're trying to do is expand him even in his old age. So at
Yeah.
his age, with them trying to expand him, that already let me know. I'm gonna tell you when I knew that Penix was the truth. I was sort of skeptical on him, not because I didn't feel he was a good quarterback. I'm just a defensive person when we need defense. If we
Mm-hmm.
need an offense, I would be an offense person. So when Raheem said we had Michael Penix mimic some of Patrick Mahomes' moves for the defense, that's how they practiced for KC. They had Penix watch Patrick Mahomes tape and mimic what he does in their practice. So the way I see this coaching staff rolling, I can't really have no complaints. I just want you to keep doing what you're doing. Just mix it up. Use a little deception. Use some tricks. Use some trials. You
Hey,
know what I'm saying? Like
Rich,
you've been doing.
not to cut you off, but the running back that you were talking about that was in that backfield as well during that time that came in with Ovi Mihaly and those dudes was Anton Smith around
That's who it
outside
was.
of
Yeah.
because remember it was him, Jarius Norwood, Ovi Mihaly. And this is before Michael Turner really got here. So
Yeah.
people forget that Jarius Norwood was a monster in that backfield till he had
He
those knee
was.
injuries. And
So
the
when
other guy, like I said, Anton Smith, you can go back and look at his Florida State days. That's probably outside of Warwick Dunn. That's probably the only other FSU
Man,
running
you can
back
look
that
at
I'll
his
rock with
Falcon
like that.
days. I used to hate when they took Smith out the game because every time they put him in, he was breaking for 10 or 20 yards just off a regular run.
He
And then
break.
they'll take
Anton
him out.
Smith was a go ahead. I'm sorry, Terry.
No. And I don't mean to cut you off, Rich, but let me tell you something. My brother Eric Parker and I have had many conversations about why they wouldn't play him. And it had to be something because they'd bring him in there and he'd run 60 yards, score a touchdown, and you wouldn't see him again for 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
That was all about money, Terry. I can tell you that now. That was the
Yeah.
reason they didn't play him was because he wasn't a highly paid back like those other running backs that they drafted that were higher than him. That's the politics of the game, unfortunately. Some of the best running backs don't get to touch the field because of that. Like I can give you an example. Look at what Michael Turner did for us. Prime example. Michael Turner was behind LaDainian Tomlinson, the Hall of Famer, and he was behind Darren Sproles, and he wasn't making that much money. When he came to Atlanta, that's when he made his name for himself. It takes for guys to sometimes go elsewhere because think about it. The Saints had Chuck Muncie before he went to San Diego.
Right.
Hank Bauer was a solid running back for the San Diego Chargers back in the day. He became one of the, outside of Bill Bates, he was one of the best special team players of all time. So at the end of the day, all we can do is just sit back and just laugh and just be like, you know what? We understand the politics that come with it. But you look at some of the players that have dealt with politics, man. It's a ton of them guys that dealt with politics.
Yeah.
So,
what I don't understand about that though, and I hear you, but guys, you saw him play. I mean, we're talking, and you know, hey, keep me right here. But if he touched the ball 4 times or 5 times, he scored once. And I'm not talking 10 yards. I'm talking 30, 40, 50 yards. You know that
it's about the money. You got to understand it. It's not about the play. It's about the fact that you got to remember that's an investment. They're going to get their bang for their buck. It's just like this. If I'm paying you X amount of dollars to do a job, I'm not going to get no doggone free labor. I'm not going to hand you money for free and you ain't working. That's pretty much what that would have been if they would have played him. All those backs that were making more money than him, they'd have just been sitting collecting the check.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, then you can't complain about losing.
I agree. I'm not saying complaining about losing, but we also understand that the front office is fickle, and that's not just with us. That's with every organization in the NFL. A lot of the best players don't even touch the field, bro.
Your take.
I'm sorry.
You got it.
I don't know if you guys can tell. I love me some Antoine Smith, and I would not, because literally you throw him a screen and he did this at least 5 times for the Falcons, and he played 2 games.
You don't remember when they threw him that screen? And
yes, absolutely. Yes.
Like, one thing I liked about him was his vision. To me, that's why I love Tyler Algier over Bijan. Not because Bijan not a good player. I love when Bijan in because it makes him stack the box.
Yeah.
So we can always hit you over the top. I'm not tripping on that. But when it comes to running back vision, when I see Tyler Algier run, that's the first 2 people I think about is Michael Turner and Antoine Smith.
Yeah.
And I've literally been at the game at the Dome because, you know, me and my sister been season ticket holders since the first stadium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been to many of games here and away. And you will put Antoine Smith in when they put him in is when they be losing too. That's another thing used to get on my nerves. We get behind 2 or 3 touchdowns. He bring us up 1 touchdown and they get him out the game for the rest of the game.
Out. Yeah.
Instead of going up for 2, they'll get 1 with him and then just to go. And I understand his politics and money. I get it. So I'm not mad at the political end. It's just that when an organization says they want to win, in my mind, you win by any means necessary.
Agreed.
Because one thing about it, Kyle Shanahan used every player on that offense.
Oh yeah.
All the way down to Keith Smith. Or not Keith Smith, Patrick DeMarco. I miss having the fullback. Because if you think about it, on them fullback drags and routes he had him running, Patrick DeMarco was opening the end zone every single time. It was the same way with Anton Smith. He could also catch the ball. He was Bijan for us before Bijan. I
And he
remember them throwing him 30, 40, Matt Ryan throwing him 30, 40-yard passes. He catch it running in for the touchdown. Because they don't expect him to be able to catch because they don't ever see him.
right.
So they can't
Well,
game
here's the other
plan
thing.
for him.
Now, here's the other thing. Now, I would have to say this. When you talk about running styles, like I said, I compared Tyler Algier, as I said, to Thurman Thomas, but I still I'm sorry, not Tyler Algier. I compare Bijan Robinson to Thurman Thomas.
Yeah.
If I had to compare Tyler Algier to a back, I said William Andrews 2.0. But if you ever look at Algier, another guy that he's very similar to because he doesn't fall backwards, go ahead and look up the old diesel, John Riggins. Riggins had solid speed. Actually, the difference is Riggins was a little faster than Tyler Algier. People forget that Riggins also was a state track champion, and he also ran track at Kansas. You gotta think about it. He and his brother are Kansas legends. They all came a little after Gale Sayers, but Riggo was a state track champion. People look at him because he was a white boy. They didn't think he could run like that. And if you ever see it, when did you really see Riggins get caught from behind?
You did.
When did you ever see him sidestep? Because if you ever look at it, Tyler Algier, if he gets a crease, he gone. Because he's got enough speed to get away. That's only once he gets started. Tyler's like a freight train. Once he's going, he's going. And it's hard to bring him down, and it's hard to really get behind him. And I mean, I'm going in my bag today, so y'all got to be patient with me. But the other back that he reminds you a little bit of, the difference is he's got better ball control. Look at old Robert Newhouse that played for the Cowboys. That is another back that he's very similar to when you're talking about being a compact running back that's around that 215. Well, Tyler's 230, 240, and that's running downhill. He's a little heavier than Newhouse was, but compact in the same type of body style. When you talk about him being able to hit a lane and hit a crease, and he's not looking to go around you, he's looking to go through you. Now, the one thing that Algier has to do a little bit better of, and this is when we say injuries do mount up. We want you to be a little bit smart when you take your chances of running people over. Don't just try to run everybody over because we need you for the long haul. You have to learn how to learn when you're going to take your shots and learn when you're going to give your shots. And that is something that a lot of power backs, if you ever look at it, power backs don't last that long. Earl Campbell didn't last that long. 8 years in the league. Earl didn't last long because of all the shots he took. Riggins lasted long because Riggins was just a good old farm boy from Kansas or whatnot, and he retired for, remember, a year and a half before he came back. So again, you don't really see we love the physical runs, but if you've never played the game before, ladies and gentlemen, it's very taxing when you're hitting somebody every week. It's like being in a car wreck.
Car accident,
200 and some pounds running against 250, 230, 300, running through that. And that's every week. Running backs are one hit away from a hospital bed. And I'm being honest. I'm not saying that to be, I'm knocking on wood because I like Tyler, but at the same time, he's got to learn when to give those shots because we want him for the longevity. That's what I'm looking at. I want longevity out of this man.
That's true. Hey, question for the panel. Is there anybody more poetic in their runs than Earl Campbell? Because let me tell you something. You bring up Earl Campbell, man, you bring tears to my eyes. Earl Campbell was the first dude that I saw, I'm not going out of bounds. Hey, it's 5 more yards. He got the first down 10 yards ago. Let me hit 3 or 4 people in the mouth. I'm going to make you take me down. No, I'm not going out of bounds. And he was his runs were he ran like Gale Sayers, but he was violent, right? Back in the day, and I love me some Tony Dorsett. As y'all can tell, I'm old. I'm old as hell. I'm old.
I got one for you.
I'm old.
I got one too, T. Will. T. Will, I was gonna say that doggone. How about that Mike Allstott, man? I like them runs right there too, man.
Yeah,
man, that Joker there, he was good. But Algier's player comp to me, I was gonna say he's more like of an Eddie George. You know, he can do it. He just need to learn his pass blocking. Best reason Bijan is starting. Bijan pass blocking like sweetness out there. No
Now,
joke.
Wait a minute. Hold up. No, hell no. I'm not gonna let you do that. You're not gonna sit
He
there.
laying them out. He laying them out.
Hell no. You are not gonna compare him to my idol. That ain't happening. He don't block.
Hey, he laying them
like
out,
that.
bro.
He lays them out, but he does not block anything like Walter Payton. He's great, but ain't no way in hell you compare him.
He the best blocking. He the best blocking running back I done seen in the league so far this season. Then I'm gonna say it like that.
Since you mentioned my idol, the man who I'll take any day. Yeah. Fair use. When you talk about poetic runs, here you go.
Yeah. 100 feature on Mr. Brookshire. Scary.
I think there was a Monday night game too. I think I watched this game.
Thanksgiving game.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Still fighting inside the 30 to the 28.
You know what was great about Walter Payton?
This is
not only his rhythm, but his contact.
And you know his wife Connie there
contact balance
baby momentarily.
Arlington
Heights. This is a 19-yarder. Almost goes down, uses the hand for balance. And I can't describe this, and I would hate to try to tackle it.
And you know what's funny?
Ryan, do Walter Payton and Gale Sayers kind of remind you of each other in when they get going, or
nope? Gale was a bigger version of Barry Sanders. He was Barry before Barry, because when you look at it, everybody that tried to play against him or whatnot was a guy that would say it looked like he had eyes in the back of his head. When you try to get him, he's already over here. Yeah. Now, when it comes to Walter wasn't the fastest, Walter wasn't the strongest, but the thing that Walter had that was greater than everybody else, because people don't realize Walter was only 5'9", 205 pounds, running like he was 300 pounds. Walter had small feet. If you've ever gone to the NFL Hall of Fame, they got his cleats in there. Walter wore a size 8 shoe. He wasn't that big. And the way that he ran was his running style was fostered by the legendary Coach Bob Hill out of Jackson State, who was a former fullback. And the thing that he taught was they scrimmaged every day. There was no such thing as non-contact. The thing that he taught Walter was, look, instead of taking all the punishment, you give it. Walter played running back like a defensive player. It's not many people that can run over Ronnie Lott. It's not that many people that was running over LT. Walter was one of those few outside of Earl Campbell, and Walter was a smaller back. So when I look at it, like Jim Brown said it, and you can even look at the top 100, he said, there's no greater heart. He said, we were great warriors, but Walter was a great warrior. He pretty much put him up there. He said, there was no heart greater than Walter Payton. He said, give me the heart of Walter Payton. When Jim Brown validates that, in the discussion, that's a done deal.
That's true.
When you got one of the greatest running backs that's from our state of Georgia, St. Simon Island, by the way, Mr. Jim Brown, rest in peace. When he says that, that's a done deal.
That's why I really don't like comparing players to each other. I'm not a big fan of comparing players, even though I do it sometimes. But for me, our running back court is even different from the Devontae. Everyone be talking about Devontae Freeman, Kevin Cope. No, they different from them. They way different with their running style.
Yeah.
Real. If you want to be honest about it, they way different than them two. Not saying them two weren't great when we had them, but that's why
game is just different now.
Yeah.
It's not as physical as it once was. That's the difference. You hit it. Think about it. The way, Rich, the game, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm going to let you finish. But think about this. You just said it. The game is not the way that it once was. Because let's be real. We saw these guys getting hit every which way that's considered penalties now. And them dudes was dominating. When guys were taking headshots, when guys were diving into you a certain way, picking you up and slamming you down. I mean, and clotheslining you. The game was a hell of a lot rougher, and the guys were tougher back then. I'm sorry.
That's true.
It was, but see, where I was really going with it is the reason why I say that is because that's why teams hate us now with Tyler, because see, I get what you are saying about his health, but the reason why he can do that is because running backs don't pound like that no more. So for some running backs, I remember when I played for some people just crazy like that. They just are. They don't even understand it until you hit them like that. They may not even. I've seen where some of the players when I played for Dunwoody, when it was a Run Tez, Grant, Drees, Shear, like I went to school with them. You know what I'm saying? So I know I've seen certain players who don't even get started until they get hit. Like I need these three people to hit me, and then I watch their game elevate so after they get hit to a whole different level. So that's why I do like Tyler because Tyler used to be a linebacker, so he understands
Yep.
gaps and assignments. So hitting him not gonna be like hitting someone who's just been a running back all their life. You know what
And
I'm
remember,
saying?
but you got to remember, Tyler also led the nation, and nobody talks about this because he went to BYU. Now, all my college football fans know this. Tyler led the nation in touchdowns in all his last 2 years in school, touchdowns, and he had the most yards from the line of scrimmage. He literally led the country in rushing, but nobody talked about that. And he played both, like you say, he played both sides of the ball. He was a linebacker when he first got there, and then moved to running back. But he played both. He played that in high school though.
But that's what I'm saying. So the contact for him gonna be different. He may welcome it because the linebacker is still in him, even though he play running back. That's just like if you good at basketball, but football is really where your passion at. But you chose basketball, your heart is still in whatever position that you play. So when you watch the game,
That's a
you
good
like.
point. That's a good
You
point.
know what I'm saying? So for him being a linebacker, he don't get to hit like he used to. And you don't think he miss hitting people?
Okay.
Listen, look at his face, man. If you look at Tyler's face when he ran into all them dudes that last game,
I
when
loved it. That's how
they
you
had
play.
him mic'd up, he said, "Get up off me."
And
He invites
remember
you to
how he had
come
that
get
look
him
in his eye. He
because
just
he's
when
a
the camera
linebacker.
got on
So
him, he's looking right through him.
because he's a linebacker, so he knows how to drop his shoulder and hit you. He's not a regular typical running back. Is basically all I'm saying. That's why I say he's different from Devontae Freeman and Tevin. They didn't play defense. He played defense. So every now and then he may want to get over there when Troy Anderson was hurt. We don't know. He may have asked coach to put him in. We don't know. You see what I'm saying? Because he's just that tough. Like I watch him after he takes them hits. That boy does not. He only be phased when they run him back to back to back to back because he's tired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you put him
But he
in there
runs
that second
hard. That's the
half,
thing. He runs hard. Every play, he
Yeah.
literally, I think the best way to describe it, and the legendary Jim Brown said it, you can't turn it on and you can't turn it off. It always has to be on because if I'm giving a defensive back a chance to hit me and building up their confidence, that takes away from what I'm trying to do. So I can't turn it on. So when I got a chance to deliver a forearm into your chest, or I got a chance to drop a shoulder, magic happens. Jim Brown said that. And if you ever talk to him, Larry Zonka said the same thing. All those running backs that are power backs that might have a little bit of speed, but they don't have, like you said, they don't have the breakaway speed like that. The way that they're going to beat you down, they want to mentally beat you down. And this is the mental aspect of the game. A lot of people talk about the game, but anybody that's played, you understand if you got a guy that's there that's willing to hit you in the mouth more than you're willing to hit him, he's going to win that ball game. You got to have that mindset of kill or be killed.
Yeah.
you didn't see Carolina last week praying that Tyler Algier run to the sideline.
We all saw that.
He's like, no, I ain't going to the sideline, my boy. You ain't doing that. I'm a linebacker.
Oh,
So I gotta ask y'all this.
If you look at him in his facial expression, I see linebacker sometimes. I don't see running back in his facial expression after they hit him. He look like hell, like ooh, yeah, this is what I wanted. That's what I need, and that's why it's hard for them to tackle him because he understands the linebacker gap assignment. How many running backs understand the linebacker gap assignment in the NFL? I watch plenty of games in the NFL where you be like, well, you running straight into the hole. For what? Well, you can just go around it.
So we So pretty much we got 6 minutes to kickoff. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up pretty soon. So I'm sorry if you came in just late. I apologize. We got to get you on the post-game show. Come back in a little bit later on the post-game show because we got to wrap this thing up and everybody got to get ready for the ball game. Score predictions. What are y'all score predictions?
I go first. I got Falcons 31-17, man. We just got to keep running TA, control the ball, and then I think we should be able to pin our ear back today and get a couple of sacks. I need 2 sacks out of Judon today, baby.
Hey, I see you, William. Hey, come in the post game. I got you covered, fam. Because we literally about to wrap this thing up so everybody can get situated for this ball game. Terry, what you got?
I'm gonna say 27-16. Falcons, and Seattle misses an extra point.
I agree with you on that, William. Give me a score prediction in the chat, William. But Rich, what you got? Score prediction today?
I'm gonna go 35-21. Cause we usually always give up about 3 scores in the first half. So I'm looking at more 35-21, something like that. And then second half, we lock it down.
I'm gonna go with the score prediction for today. I gotta say, I'm gonna give us 30. I'll give us 35-17 because I feel like we're gonna give up 2 touchdowns today and a field goal, and I think the defense is gonna clamp. But I think the offense is gonna find a way to get into a rhythm because this is the week that I said that the offense is gonna click on all cylinders. And as passing game, it's gonna be a clean game offensively. I said week 7. And I said, and I've been saying this since the offseason because these guys were laughing. I'm like, oh, I said, no, it's going to take by week 7. The latest that I said would be week 8. But I said by the first 7-8 weeks, it's going to take that offense to get in rhythm. Once they have that rhythm, it's a done deal offensively. So, again, as I said before, I think it's another 30-point game. And I think it's going to end up being, as I said before, 35-17. That's what I'm predicting with that.
Good deal.
Yeah, Kool-Aid. We got another 30-point game. I'm calling it. We got another 30-point game. That's the first thing about it. This is the first time this Falcons franchise has averaged pretty much 3 30-point games back to back to back. That never has happened in this franchise's history since 1966. That was the first time we've had 3 back-to-back 30-point games.
And Kirk been scoring back-to-back 30-point games in Minnesota for the whole time. So I already see what he's doing.
Exactly. I think finally I'll say this. I think what we have to do today, we just got to play a clean game of football and we got to play a full competent game. Let's get this win. Let's not get anybody hurt today. Keep knocking on wood. Let's get our points. Let's get up out of here. Let's get this win, and let's get ready to get this 4th win in the division next week against Tampa. That is what's going to have to happen because we get that 4th win in the division. We pretty much all we got to do is coast to getting the next 2. It's possible that we can sweep this division now because New Orleans is hurt.
Yep.
Carolina is pretty much a team we allowed to get in. We allowed them to get into a rhythm. If we stop them, we can beat them. Yeah. Tampa is going to be the only threat that we have in the division to winning it. Because if they beat us and split with us, they got to win out. Yeah. But my thing is, we sweep Tampa, we pretty much take the division.
Yeah.
I agree.
Let's do
it. And they coming for blood that week too, so we got to be ready. They coming for blood.
We got to think about it. They playing for a lot. The city of Tampa right now is still recovering. Yeah. Prayers for those folks that are out there. They're recovering right now. But they're going to be playing, think about it, they're going to be playing just like New Orleans did after Katrina. They're going to have extra added motivation. The difference is the city wasn't as decimated as New Orleans was because Florida's prepared for those hurricanes because that is a hub for hurricanes. But still, there was a lot of devastation, a lot of things that have happened. So they're playing for that city. They're playing to give their fans hope at this point.
Yeah.
So they're going to be a playoff team, regardless if they win a division or not. They're going to be in the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. They were in it last year. They're going to be in it again this year. But it's up to us to win the division to get better seeding so we can win these ball games, man.
Yeah.
But I want to thank y'all for coming through. Mr. Terry, tell them where they can find you at. Nando, Rich, appreciate you for coming through. Where can they find you, Terry?
First off, Ryan, thank you for having me. I'm honored. Rich, nice to meet you. Nando, nice to meet you. Although, Nando, I think we're friends on Facebook. I think we are. But
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's nice to meet all of y'all. I'm honored to be here. You can find me at One Time for the Fan, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, and Friday mornings. You can also find me at For My ATL Sports 1, both on YouTube. Guys, again, thank you to the fans. Thank you to the chat. And again, Ryan, you are phenomenal, man. Your knowledge of and I'm going to shut up because let me shut up. It's 1 o'clock. Hey, Ryan, would it be okay if I joined you on the after post-game show?
The post-game show is called the Party Line of the Benediction. It's open to all fans of the Falcons after the game. So we always have that wide open.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, man, thank you guys for having me. Enjoyed it. And go Falcons.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go Falcons. I'll catch y'all at the halftime show pretty much after the first half. Y'all, hey, we either get right or you get left. It's the Birdcage pregame meal. We out.
Let go.